Hello, I'm Nivra Jendra, and this is the Embodied Ayurveda podcast. Here, you receive high level, authentic, and comprehensive Ayurvedic and yogic insights so that you can truly level up your wellness practices and profession. Like, leave a rating, review, and subscribe for more. Sweet foods, sweet flavors. What do you think of when I say this? Most of my clients immediately think of cookies or ice cream or an indulgent piece of chocolate cake. And what I'm thinking of is naturally occurring sweet whole foods like beetroot, sugarcane juice, raisins, figs. But why do I even talk about sweet foods to my clients or to my students? What is the actual relevance of sweet flavors and categorizing food in this way? What is going on here? And this sweet flavor, is it something that would be beneficial to your wellness, or is it actually creating disease in your body? So today we're going to dive into all things sweet. One, what are the characteristics and qualities of most sweet flavors and foods? Two, when and why would you integrate these foods into your diet? And three, when and why would you avoid these foods in your diet? Well, one, first off, what is the sweet flavor? This should feel intuitive to you. It is the sensation of sugars such as glucose, sucrose, fructose, maltose on your tongue. It can be found in many foods across modern nutritional categories like carbs, proteins, fats. You can actually find sweet flavors across these categories. It's not just about carbs or fats. And there's some obviously sweet foods like ripe mangoes, juicy dates, but the sweet taste is also more subtle than you might originally realize. For example, rice and cow's milk are also actually predominantly sweet in their flavor. Now, remember, we are all elemental beings. Everything around us and within us consists of one or more of the combination of five main elements. This includes flavors. Yes, I know it might be hard for you to grasp, but each of the flavors is predominant in their own elemental makeup. It's so incredible. So the sweet flavor is made up of the earth and the water elements. These two elements together create the sweet flavor. They create the stabilizing, lubricating, nourishing energy of kapha dosha. And if you need a recap on doshas or the functional energetics, please do refer to my 101 episode on functional energetics. But yes, this energy of kapha, of earth and water, is cooling, heavy, grounding, building, moistening, nourishing. Remember these qualities, it's very important. This means the sweet flavor, which is made up of earth and water elements, which is kapha dosha, creates a cooling, stabilizing, heavy, grounding, building, hydrating, and nourishing effect in your mind body system. And on a mental level, it also has its effects. In healthy amounts, it creates sensations of love, compassion, and contentment. There is a sattvic quality to the sweet flavor, meaning it holds energetics of bliss and equilibrium, which is kind of funny because it makes me think of those bliss balls that you get in some cafes. They're this combination of shredded coconut, raw cane sugar, dates, pistachios. They're actual bliss. I love them. There's the goodness of gorgeously combined, naturally sweet flavors. Yes, this is what Ayurveda teaches us so much just about the sweet flavor. It's time to leave behind your limited and superficial notions of food leave behind them, understand the deeper implications and energetics. So, two, let me bring this together for you a little bit. What are certain conditions and contexts within which these sweet flavors are particularly medicinal for you, particularly advised for you? Remember, these sweet flavors that have the element of earth and water, that have these very particular qualities. When should you be focusing on integrating these flavors? And, just a side note, I'm not talking about heavily processed white sugar items or industrial, artificially sweetened items. Those heavily processed and synthetic components cause more harm than good, especially if consumed daily or consistently. Extremely, extremely toxic, big no no. But I will say, if it's a homemade dessert made with love and you're eating it from time to time, you're enjoying it with love, yes, even this type of sweetness, sweet dessert, definitely provides medicine into your life. But when? So, when should you turn to sweet flavors? When you are experiencing a lot of lightheadedness, distracted or fluctuating mind, anxiety, dizziness, a lot of dryness in your body, in your skin, in your guts, cracking of joints, worrisomeness in your mind. Then integrating qualities of stability, of hydration, groundedness that comes through the sweet flavors is absolutely integral for you. Opposites help to balance things out. If you feel your temperament heat up incessantly, you feel intense emotions of anger, irritation, impatience surge through you, then integrating foods that will help cool you down physically and mentally is going to be so, so important. If you are feeling chronic weakness or degeneration in your body, hair fall, a dull complexion, again, the sweet flavor, which holds the kapha energetic of building and nourishing, is going to be complete medicine for you. And if you witness your body respond to seasonal changes, you're going to find that in the summer and in the fall is when your body mostly lacks that ground, restfulness, and stability. You might feel yourself be propelled by the heat or the flux of the times into intense action, into overwhelm. So, again, here, sweetness, remember, all that it brings into your life. Root veggies like beetroots, carrots, sweet potatoes, squash and pumpkins, corn, sweet fruits like bananas, sweet apples, peaches, watermelons, grapes, dates, figs, grains like rice, oatmeal, nuts, even actually, like almonds, cashews, tender coconut, too. Dairy and meat items like milk, ghee, eggs, pork, salmon, these all hold the sweet flavor strong in them. So note that down. But also pay attention to your taste buds as they receive that sweet flavor, as you chew the food, and what is the flavor that you get after chewing for a while. Now, of course, certain foods may also hold other characteristics, like we learned about the mental energetics of certain foods. So it's important that we make sure we're understanding each food item, each plant in its fullness in terms of whether it is appropriate for one or not. But in general, know that these types of foods that are sweet, the ones that I mentioned, are grounding, strengthening, nurturing, nourishing, bringing a sensation of joy and compassion into the body. And maybe that's exactly what you need more of in this moment of time. Feel the full medicine of this flavor when you eat. What is it bringing into your body on a subtle level? Pay attention. Appreciate. A lot of spices also have a sweetness to them, like fennel seeds, vanilla, saffron, mint, nutmeg. So you can appropriately create herbal infusions with these if need be. And do watch my masterclass on plant medicine and pranayama for the deep dive into how we create herbal infusions if you don't already know. Be your own plant doctor. Be your own herbal medicine guide, herbalist. Tap into these insights. So I gave you a lot on when we say a big, fat, juicy yes to sweet flavors. But what about when it is contraindicated? Does that happen? When do we say no? Well, yes, we do say no sometimes. There are definitely situations when you want to avoid sweet flavors as much as possible. And I'm going to give you a couple of examples. The first is congestion. If you are feeling stuffiness, heaviness in your head, phlegm, mucus, an acute situation of flu, cough, cold, please avoid. You do not need more dampness or heaviness in your body. You need to clear up whatever that has accumulated, and sweet foods will not help with that. So I say avoid it, especially cold and sweet fruits, as well as any type of dairy, a big no no for you. And then any type of fungal or bacterial infection, stomach flu, worms, we do not want to support their habitat. They grow in those damp and sweet environments, stick to other flavors, more bitter, more pungent flavors during this time. The sweet is only going to create a breeding ground for those viruses. So please avoid sweet flavors in those moments. And another example is if you're trying to navigate unhealthy weight gain, obesity, heaviness, or sensations of stuckness in your body, then you definitely do not need more heaviness in your foods. So keep sweetness minimal. Recognize it to be adding that nourishing, building quality in your body, and you don't need more of it. And this final piece, if you've been experiencing excessive emotions like greed or attachment, know that this too can be a symptom of too much sweet flavors in your diet. It's an indicator to tone it down a bit. And I'm going to throw a bit of an extra here. I spoke about the general rule when it comes to sweet flavors, but I have two special exceptions. And I love exceptions because it reminds us that some plants really do have their own medicinal mission here on earth. Regardless of their flavor, regardless of how they taste, they have a special action or karma, you can say. The first exception we have is raw honey. Honey does not follow the rules. It is actually heating, whereas most other sweet foods are cooling. It clears up excess kapha or congestion in the body. It scrapes away toxins and it helps to kindle the digestive fire. It's specifically healing for any soreness, itchiness, and congestion in the throat. So, quite the opposite of what I mentioned about other sweet foods. Another exception for you is barley. Barley has a sweet flavor. It can be cooked like rice or it's fermented, it's prepared as tea, but it most definitely does not create heaviness or moistness in the mind body system. In fact, it's a perfect grain to advise for someone who's struggling with high blood sugar or excess fat or toxic buildup, weight gain, swelling, or water retention. So you can see it has some of the opposite qualities that other sweet foods have. I love that. Honey and barley. Just keep that in mind. There are some other exceptions, but these are the two I wanted to share here. So there you go. All about the sweet flavor, a lot about the sweet flavor. I promise you, you're going to pay attention to your meals a whole lot differently now. Identify what feels sweet in your mouth and really appreciate its vitalizing and strengthening medicine. Really appreciate its action of nourishing your muscles and tissues, or building you up, or hydrating your body. Turn to these foods more often than not if you specifically struggle with a distracted, a very light, haphazard mind, if you're struggling with weak or wasted muscles, tremors, dehydration in your body, and turn away from these flavors and foods when you're congested, full of phlegm, sick with a stomach flu. And definitely stop categorizing your foods as just carbs, fats, and proteins or calories. It's so incredibly limited. I just don't want to hear it anymore. And let's go deeper, baby. And guide your people accordingly. Cook for your loved ones accordingly. I mean, imagine integrating this. And this was just sweet flavor. We have 5 other flavors that we could get into in Ayurveda. Cook for your loved ones accordingly. Create fitness meal plans accordingly. Tend to the entire unique mind body system through the art, science, and wisdom of Ayurveda. I invite you. In Jan 2024, we enter into this new year immersed in this life science through my high level embodied Ayurveda certification program. Get trained, get coached, mentored personally by me. Certification enrollment is in the show notes. I can't wait to hear from you. I'm sending you the biggest love. It's been trying times. It has, I mean, maybe it always is, but it feels like the mess is being a bit louder, more aggravated, and my heart is cracked open. I know yours is too, but we got this. You got this. Stay with your clarity, stay with your discernment. The collective needs it now more than ever. Really. Find me on Instagram at the rate Your Health Compass. Goodbye.